So what is the Academy? What is the Academy for Sales Excellence? Well, during my time in the corporate world, I've realized that there's always a challenge between getting the theory and applying the theory on practice. And I've always wondered, why is it that we spend so much time in a training program, yet putting the basic training ideas in practice is a complete different story. So I did a little bit of research, and here's what I share with you. As individuals, there are two parts of our brain. There's a part called the neocortex, and there's a part called the limbic brain. The neocortex is the part that learns, that can comprehend ideas that are fluent ideas. Okay? So you're sitting in a class. I remember sitting in classrooms, having the professor go through a math exercise and thinking, yeah, I get it. I know what's going on. Sure enough, when I'm giving the exercise, I try to put this exercise in practice, I get stuck. And why did I get stuck? Because my limbic brain, the limbic part of my brain, which is the part that learns to do something as a habit, learns much slower. It learns a lot slower, and as such, so I would think I could do it, yet I wasn't able to do that exercise. So the answer, of course, is practice. The more I practiced, the more I internalized that learning, and of course, as a result, the more I did well in math. Well, how does that relate to anything we do in life? Well, think about how is it that you learn how to drive a car. I mean, if you remember how you learn how to drive a car, you first had no clue. You sat in that behind the wheel, and you were, maybe before that, when you sat next to your father or your brother, mother, whatever, saw them driving the car and saying, yeah, I can do this, I can press the gas, I can steer the steering wheel, and things would be great. Sure enough, as you sat behind that wheel, things were a lot different, because now it was up to you to then put all your skills in practice where you had no skills. So you had somebody sitting next to you showing you exactly what needs to happen, the order in which it needs to happen so that the car moved, right? Okay. So great, once that happens and you do a little bit of practice, you learn how to drive the car. And then all of a sudden, you are able to then drive the car unconsciously. You get in the car and you do not consciously focus on every single thing you're doing, you just know how to drive that car. Well, fantastic. Similar in sales, or similar to any skill today that we want to learn and apply in the business world. So the challenge in sales in particular is that what? Is that you take a training program, the company tells you, okay, you're going to go spend time in training. So you go and spend 2, 3, 4, even sometimes 5 days in a training course. And they expect you to put that to use. So it's like sitting next to somebody driving a car for that time and then asking them to go and drive it by themselves. Now, of course, in the training program, you can do exercises and you can attempt to simulate the real life situation. And yes, it will help. It will help. However, how do you ensure that that practice actually sticks on the ground? Coaching. Coaching is the way. I've done some research, and coaching works for 2 reasons. Number one is accountability. Knowing that you are going to be coached by someone only forces you to take your knowledge and learning and want to put it in practice. The other part of coaching, of course, is it helps you reflect upon what you've done. A good coach is somebody that doesn't do the work for their people, rather actually sits back, knows the model, and then asks their people to reflect upon their performance. And that allows for the individual to know or to bring out to surface what they already know. So coaching really isn't about doing it for someone, rather it's about reminding them of what they already know to put it in practice. So that with this idea, I was like, well, how can we actually bring this into real life, day-to-day selling? And of course, the key was not just to design a sales training program that is a 3, 4, 5 day program, because the content, is similar. I'm not going to invent something today that is not mine. I've been there, I've read hundreds of books on the topics of sales, and I know which information is the most relevant information, and you know what? I think it's no rocket science. A lot of other companies know the same. So then what's special about this course isn't just the actual content, it's actually the methodology, incorporating adult learning. We know that we learn sometimes by watching, we learn by hearing, and we learn by doing. And we can learn by reflecting as well, and so forth and so on. So the key is, how do we incorporate various learning styles in a course that actually involves individuals and incorporates coaching, effective coaching. So what we've chosen to do is to create a methodology that actually doesn't give the whole detail at once, or doesn't give the whole theory at once, rather engages the individuals prior to arriving to a two-day program. They would have done some pre-work material. Then they go through the two-day program and they leave with assignments. And they come back a week later to review the assignments and to get additional content, and they repeat that for 3 other weeks, so a total of a 4-week period of time. So that is just the actual format. How does the coaching come in place? Well, the coaching happens in 2 ways. The first is actually once a week the individual will contact me personally, Ramez. I'll be responsible for being a sales coach with individuals. We'll arrange a specific time to discuss objectives of visits and how are they going to put their learning in practice. So that would be number 1. And I let them go on their day. And at the end of the day, they'll give me a call back and we'll review the actual call and see how much of what they said they were going to do, they actually did. And at the end of that conversation, there'll be specific action points that then gets them engaged or busy, putting them in practice until they come again to the following Monday session. And that gets repeated 3 times. 3 times. You know what? Like anything we do in life, when you get coached, when the company is investing in your coaching, it's great. The key is to make sure that you really want the coaching. You really want this thing to make a difference for you. So my promise with the companies is that I will not accept anyone to be part of my program. Not for anything, is I will ensure that I have a small screening process. I have a process by which I'll get to meet the individuals. I'll get to screen them, to identify, do they really want to be in this course? Are they going to be willing to put in the effort and the work to get the results that are going to help them in their lives with this job, but for the rest of their lives? Because selling is not just a once-in-a-while skill. Once you learn how to sell effectively, that skill becomes there with you for the rest of your life. So that's basically it. I'll ensure that the individuals have the competencies, have the desire to learn, and then the rest, of course, happens over a period of time.